Ding, 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 ding. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. And since our guest had to do a reschedule, we thought, you know what? We're just going to crank this thing out early. We're going to hit you with the 1 o'clock on a Monday. So here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. Yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it.
So,
Are you pumped?
first of all, let's just let the audience know we've been on break for a week.
Hang on, you've been on break for a week.
I've been on break for a week.
Like this is a miracle.
Miracles can't happen, dude.
Miracles happen. Wow, it's like a Christmas in June miracle.
So first of all, how did it happen? Right. So Rosa and I had this conversation about how our calendar gets booked up and all these different things. So I told her, I go, look, what you need to do is just go in and block off an entire week, whatever vacation times we need, just go in and block it off, because if you take it off the calendar, then nobody can book and we'll have that week off. And so she did, right? And so this week came up and there was no bookings, no podcasts. And I did something I hadn't done in a long time, Ham. Today was the first day I opened my laptop in a week.
No way. You actually put it away for a whole week?
Closed it, put it downstairs, and I did not open it, with the exception of Wednesday, because I wasn't aware that was something a person could do. With the exception of Wednesday, dude. Why? Because I'm taking that Billie Jean course that's on Tuesday, so on Wednesday I had to do my homework, and then I closed it back up, and I was done for the week, dude. And so it was weird. It was weird, dude. I gotta admit, it was cool, but it was weird.
Okay, I got a question for you. What fell apart? Like, were there fires? Were there emergencies? Was there all kinds of things going on? Like, you took a week, you didn't open your laptop, you didn't do any of that stuff. Like, what fell apart?
You know, to be honest, nothing really fell apart, right? And
that was basically what I wanted to hear.
However, my routine went to shit. So first of all,
that'll happen.
I had a 1 week break, but it really, from like working out, it was 2. Because the week before that, my back was off. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to sleep this one off. I'm trying to get better, right? And that sort of stuff. And I did, but I didn't wake up early. I wasn't doing my push-ups and sit-ups. I felt like, and this is one of those weird things. I almost slipped into like what I would call like almost a depression. Like I didn't really know what I was doing with myself because I didn't have that routine in place. Like because I wasn't waking up early, because I didn't have to open my laptop, because I didn't have to hop on because I didn't have to do these things. It was, I'm telling you, dude, it was awkwardly weird. Like I know. For example, I got a nice tan now, right? Because I spent a lot of time by the pool. Nice. And we went to Vegas, Rosa and I, and we had a blast, right? I mean, I'm not a pool guy, but normally when I go to Vegas, I just like to play poker. But it was me and her, so I didn't do that, right? I hung out with her. We were at the pool.
Not gonna leave her.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ditch her. It sucks. I did for a little while at night, right? I got to play. I did play for a while, but the whole thought process was like I escaped like that business world, and mentally I couldn't quite 100% leave it, right? It's still in my mind. I'm still thinking of how I'm going to approach these things. I'm kind of revamping the way I want to do my interviews on the show, where I'm focusing my attention, which is really for podcast purposes. We're focusing on testimonials, and like just kind of mapping things out, but just mentally, and very little writing. Surprisingly, like I ended up
not even journaling, huh?
I did journal a little bit, but not as much as I thought. I as much as I like in hindsight wish I should have. Right? There were days where I'd even skip journaling for a couple days. I mean, and I'd have to come back and kind of fill in pages because I'm on my own thing, right? My OCD. I have to make sure I have an entry on every single date, even though at the beginning it's like I'm writing this on Saturday and it's Wednesday, right? But the missing the routine, like not having that routine, to me, it was very detrimental. Even though I had a lot of free time, even though I had a lot of fun, not having that routine was punishing, dude. And add to that intoxication. Right. Add to that, I mean, the fact that we're in Vegas, or the fact that I'm here at my house in a pool with like Coronas, like add to that those two things. And I was really, really not productive. And to me, that really bothered me. Right. Like I enjoyed the free time.
So funny.
But it really bothered me, the low productivity. Now,
I feel you.
That being said, I'm going to do it again. Right.
You're going to do it again this week?
Well, a little bit this week because we got our Marvel thing happening this week, right? So we do have a show Thursday. We don't have a show Friday. I don't have a guest scheduled on Friday. So we'll do something Marvel-ish on Friday, something short, something
marvelous.
Sweet because we're something marvelous on Friday. So it's kind of a short week, but my regimen will still be there. I'll still be getting up early. I'll still be doing my workout. Like there's certain things like it's not. And here's for me, it's not even a lot of things. It's just that morning, that from like 4 a.m. to like 10 a.m. before everybody else in the house is like really up and moving. That's that little time. That's 6 hours, right?
That's when you get the most of your work done, though.
That's when I get all my stuff done. Like that's why the rest of the day feels good for me when I'm not on vacation, because I get my work done early in the morning. Like it's all done. I don't have to, if I get anything else done in the rest of the day, it's like just sprinkling cherries and sprinkles on top of my ice cream, dude. That's another thing I did, by the way. I ate a bunch of crap.
Lots of ice cream. Yep.
But dude, I don't know. What do you see? Like, okay, before I even go that, because I'm bashing vacation, and I know I'm bashing the recreation, and I'm bashing the laziness of my day. I know that. But I have to also... I also have to make sure that I acknowledge the other side, right? The fact that I was well rested. I did have a lot of time with my thoughts and myself. I did have a lot of time with my kids and my spouse, right? Those are all positive things. So that's why, when I'm telling you, I'm like, yeah, I didn't feel as productive. Yeah, I felt like I wasted a lot of time. I felt those things, but I'm going to do it again. Right? I have to do it again. I have to do this at least a couple times a week. And it's funny because your
at least a couple times a week?
I'm sorry, a couple times a month. A year.
Got it.
It's funny because the thought that you had mentioned a while ago when we were having a conversation about doing shows seasonally, right? Like you should have an off season and you should have an on season. Like when are you on? When are you off? And that kind of stuck with me, right? Like we've gotten in the habit now of cutting off the end of the year. So the last 2 weeks of the year we close off because, well, first of all, everybody's busy. We're busy. It's just, that's the way it's going to be.
It's like November, the last week and a half or 2 weeks of November, the last couple weeks of December.
Yeah, it's extended. We still do stuff. You and I hop on, but it's not as regimented, right?
Right.
And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the summer as well. I think I'm going to do a couple weeks in June every single year because those are the times that the kids are off and I'm off and the wife's off. And planning that personal time. That's my difficulty right there, right?
So funny, yeah. I hear you.
It's weird for me to do nothing, dude. It's weird.
I totally get it. 100% absolutely totally get it. So we've talked about this, many times, how I have not been super involved in all things insurance since May 1st. Right? Like I built the systems, and by the way, I'm listening to Robert Kiyosaki's Cash Flow Quadrant, and I'm loving it because it's like business owners build systems and have other people work the system. I'm like, holy shit,
that's what I'm doing.
Cool.
I'm doing that.
Anyway, side note. But so I have that going on. I haven't really been super involved since May 1st. And this past week, while you were on your vacation, somebody asked me, I don't remember who it was. Somebody asked me, well, what are you doing now? And the first thing that came to my head was, you know what? I'm on sabbatical. I'm on sabbatical.
Well, okay. Well, explain that. Like, well, first of all,
it means that I'm resting.
Yeah.
It means that I'm like
recharging the battery.
Recharging, very much recharging. Like I'm letting that. Another way to say it is I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor. Right. Like I put 7 years, a lot of hours into building this thing, and now it's at a point where it can basically operate without me. You know, I don't spend a ton of time in there. It just keeps doing its thing. So I have the opportunity to decide something new. I have an opportunity to not be productive, and giving myself permission to not be productive was difficult.
It's you know what it is, dude? I feel like in society today, there's and I've seen it on TikToks and I've seen it in different places where there's this push to not work hard. Right? And I got to play this again, dude. One of my strengths, right? It's trying to see both sides. On the one hand, I understand, right? I understand that it's your efforts and you're going to, you know, that you don't want to do extra work that's unnecessary, blah, blah, blah. I understand the idea of not working hard. But on the flip side, like, I just believe that if you're going to do something, if you're going to put in the effort to, you know, build something, create something, you're going to put in the work. Like you have to, there's a huge amount of pride that goes into hard work. And when you can look back and say, this is what I have created, right? Like, remember when we built that retaining wall, right?
Yeah.
That was hard freaking work. I even hurt my back on that one back then, trying to pull out roots by hand, right? But when we were done, we could look back and say, look, dude, this was awesome. And I remember doing that as a kid with dad. Like we'd step into this new place where we're living at, and the backyard is just plain. It's just the backyard. And by the time we were done with it, it had rose and corn growing and squash growing. Like we could look back and say I was sweating. It was hot. I was tired. It sucked, but I did this.
Right.
And I think that part is missing today. Like people don't want to do that kind of work. Like they try to escape it at every angle. And for me, it's for you growing up, we've just been conditioned. Like, I mean, look at all our uncles. They do the same thing. And not that I agree all the time with the way they do things, but I agree with their work effort, with their work ethic, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's funny that you see that there's some kind of a push for everybody to relax and not work so hard, where I see the opposite. I see everybody is hustle mentality. Everybody's in bust your ass mode. Everybody's in, if you don't work hard 24/7, you're never going to get ahead. You know, we have this conversation. The books that yell at me and tell me you have to wake up every single day, 5 a.m. and work until your fingers bleed. And then you get up and you do it the next day and over again, develop your small habits and just do it and just do it and just do it. Just do it. Like that shit is fucking exhausting. Like I can't do it. And listening to books that tell me to do that, that don't work for me.
But you actually do that. And that's the irony in a lot of that. And I think maybe that's the irony that we're talking about here is you do that. You do bust your ass and you do work hard and you do that, right? And so you're trying to seek out this other side that says, chillax, bro. Like relax. Yeah. And that's okay. Right. And on the other side, I'm kind of feeling the same way. I'm like, look, everybody's chillaxing. I should be working my ass off. Like I should be busting my ass. But here's to me, when you hear those people, right? This morning I was listening to Billy Asbrook, blessed and I forgot what he says, blessed and unstoppable. And he's motivational speaker. But I'm listening to this as I'm going for my run, and as I'm doing those things. And he's talking about hustling. The greats, the really successful people, they do talk about the hustle because that's what it takes. Like you put in 7 years of what you're doing in the insurance business. So you have this time to go and venture and do something else. It takes the work. But I think that there's a lot of, to me, the lax comes from partially COVID, right? We tasted what it was like to sit at home and not drive to the office. We tasted what it was like to not have to put on a tie or not have to get dressed and hop on a Zoom call, right? We tasted what it was like to sleep in a little more because I didn't have to get up but 5 minutes before my meeting started. We've tasted all those things.
Right.
And so now as the world opens up and people are starting to go back to work and employers are saying, yeah, it's time to come back. People are like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to work that hard. You know what I mean? And so and don't get me wrong, I'm good with that, because from a teaching standpoint in the classroom, I was feeling the same exact way, right? I'm not looking forward to going back to a building every single day. It's just I'm
going
not
to change your
looking forward to
whole
that.
morning routine from the last 18 months.
It's going to change everything, right? It's
13 months,
going to change
whatever,
everything
15.
back, right? There are going to be some things that go back to a normal. But again, if I go back to that idea of hard work, right? I think the problem with people who grind, and they feel like they're not going anywhere is because they're grind without purpose. They grind without an end goal. They grind at a 9 to 5 for somebody else. And I think that is where people stress out. And for me, it's like, look, I understand you got a job. I got a job. I teach, right? I have a 9 to 5. Well, not actually 9 to 5, but
we'll
still,
call it that.
I have a job, right? But where do I spend most of my time? I don't spend most of my time in doing that stuff, doing my job. I spend most of my time working on my side hustle, working on
minding
things
your
for
business.
me. I mind my business. I work my ass off because I want to build something for me, right? I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor. We're in a position right now, I'm not rich. And this is a discussion Rosa and I we're having this weekend. I'm not rich, but I'm in a position right now where we're really comfortable. Right. And this is the mindset that kept going through my mind all week was, I'm really comfortable. Should I stay here? Like, do I become complacent right here at this point in my life? Is this my victory point? Is this my, am I planting the flag on the top of this mountain saying, this is my lifestyle right here?
So let me ask you this. Me being on this sabbatical that I mentioned, do you think that that's what I'm doing?
I don't know. And that's the thing, right? When we're wrestling with that idea of, do I relax or do I work hard? Right? Do I continue to push, or do I take a chill pill, take a couple steps back? Right? That, I think, to me, that battle is, well, have you reached what you needed to reach for you? Or are you working your ass off for somebody else? So I don't know, man. Me personally, for you, I think you're at a point right now where you're judging the same thing. You're guessing and contemplating the same thing that I'm contemplating. I'm comfortable right now.
I'm okay
do I maximize the time, or do I go for broke? Do I continue to push? Because that next level, that next extra $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, that's a completely different lifestyle than what I am now, right? But it reminds me of what Kevin Hart was talking about on Joe Rogan's show. He's like, every time you reach a new level, you stand at the top of your mountain, you look down, you're like, damn, I've done a lot. I've accomplished a lot right now. Like, look, I didn't used to have that. Now I have that. I didn't used to have this system. Now it's working. I didn't used to make this much money. Now I do. Like, you look down and you look back at what you've done, and it's amazing. But then you look up and you're like, ooh, that next plateau right there, that ain't that far, right? Like, I can do that. Like, I've done this. I've gotten this far in my life. I've achieved this much. And that next hill right there, I think I can do that.
Now I 100% agree with you. Having come from a trip this past weekend or the weekend before to Yosemite, where we climbed to one of the highest places.
You're literally looking at that next ledge
and literally looking, like we're literally looking at the next peak and thinking, okay, we can do that. However, we spent over an hour at the top of that ledge, resting, contemplating, appreciating, right? And that's where I am right now. So this place that I'm at right now, I'm giving myself permission not to be quote unquote productive. But the thing that I'm wrestling with, and the thing that I'm consistently convincing myself of, is that rest is productive.
Yeah. You're forcing yourself to wait. You're forcing yourself to think that.
I'm forcing myself to think that. Like, it's not a thought that comes naturally.
Yeah.
Right? The thought that comes naturally is, I need to be working. I need to be busting my ass. Like, I'm wasting my time. The thought that I have to follow that up with is, no, resting is productive. And I've done a lot of really cool things in the past couple of months, just like following my intuition. I've just ridden to new places and seen new things and met new people, and just like just different things that I've decided to do just because like the inspiration hit me, and I'm like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. And like, it leads me to like a really cool experience, or it leads me to some new idea. That's, how I kind of decided, what? Financial coaching. That's the next thing that I want to do. If it's not financial coaching, then maybe I'll just dive straight into financial planning. I'm not really sure, but something in that vein where it's not insurance. I'm not selling anything other than to help people reach their dreams. Like, that's what I want to do, is to help people, put their numbers together, put their budgets together, develop good financial habits, like whatever it takes to help people get to the next level so that they can leave behind something for their kids or whoever they want to. Legacy.
Well, let's talk about this rest period then, because I'm with you. I'm trying to force myself, and that's why I'm saying I'm going to do these extra, different times during the year, right?
Good job. I'm proud of you.
As
Russell will be happy.
Yeah, rest is productive. However, during these rest periods, how often are you sticking to how many disciplines are you still sticking to? Because I think this is where I will seriously lose my shit if I go and I take these weeks off and I lose my disciplines. I lose my structure. I lose my routines. I will lose myself. Right.
Yep.
So during this productive, restful time, are you still maintaining certain disciplines?
Yeah. So our 5 a.m. call is a perfect example. So I've been on this sabbatical since May, right? All of May, I was still getting up, still doing it, between 3 to 5 times a week, which is my average, right? Some weeks I'm there every day, Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'm only there 3 times, whatever. And then like in June, this month, I had 2 weeks that I just didn't show up. Then I went back 1 week. And then last week was just kind of funky with everything. I think I was there like 1 day. And then I missed this morning because I had a sleepover. Anyway, but I'm planning on being back, tomorrow. That's part of what makes me happy. Just like you're saying, those hours between 4 to 10, when you get the majority of your work done, the hours between, 4:40 and 9 are like, they're my physical hours. They're when I do my workouts and shower and eat, delicious breakfasts that I like to make, like I do all of these things. So the morning routine is really important to me. I still get dressed, right? Like I'm actually wearing pants, jeans, and a nice shirt. Like that is important to me. I sit at my computer, and even if I'm not necessarily like doing work, right? Sometimes I'm distracted by the Facebook and, all these other things, but I'm sitting at my computer because I know this is my productive space. And I still want to be productive. I still want to, I'm still doing things for the podcast. I'm still, I've got things that I'm working on there and trying to get better at, video clips and all these things. I'll sit out under a tree outside and I'll just think and write, like I'm giving myself the time and space to do the things that I'm inspired to do, not the things that I absolutely have to do because somebody's waiting on a certificate of insurance or whatever.
No alarm bells that can't be taken care of by other peeps, right?
Exactly.
It's been one hell of a ride. Okay, so speaking of being back, I wasn't there for you all last week on your show. What's your show been like as far as growth in your blue ocean?
I hit 10,000 downloads.
Woo woo!
Woo woo! So what is that? February, March, April, May, June, 5 months?
Yeah, how many episodes?
70 episodes.
70 episodes, 10,000 downloads. That's one hell of a ride, and growing.
It's still definitely growing. The trend is still up, I think. I mean, it went like this up to 954, and then it was like around 800 the last 2 weeks. So we'll see what the next week brings.
Dude, and that's amazing, dude. I'm so proud of like what you've done already, especially since like I was on a interview today and we were talking, what was episode 1 like? And I can't help to think, dude, like you're crushing it in your own podcast space, in your own thing. And I dragged you in with a couple of beers to get into the podcast space, dude. That's awesome.
Get over here. I'll give you some beers. Fuck, fine.
All right.
Now, do it. Now, I was going to do it anyway, but the beers definitely helped. Now I'm drinking tea.
No, yeah, I got water too. All right, dude. Well, ladies and gents, so the schedule for the week, we do have interviews for the rest of this week, except for Friday. On Friday, we don't have an interview. James and I will probably hop on and do a little something. We're doing our Marvel shows this week. So
whoop, whoop. Marvel movie madness. Marvel movie madness.
Explain what we're doing this year in case anybody else wants to follow along.
We are going to be doing, the same thing that we've done the last 2 years, try to take over the world. I mean, watch the Infinity Saga. So this year we are going
chronological
release date. We did chronological last year. So we got to go release date this year. And I'm actually pulling up the schedule right now so I can actually share it with everybody for folks who want to see. This is what our schedule looks like.
Boom, 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 boom. There we go.
So this is chronological order, right? And this is release date. So we are starting, I haven't updated the dates yet, but July 1st, July 2nd, July 3rd. Why did it do that? Stupid thing. July 2nd. There we go.
So if any of you want to follow along, I mean, this is what we're doing. You don't got to do all 26. You don't got to do all 26, but
July 1st, 8 a.m. July 1st until 12:40 a.m. And then we're up early, 7 a.m. to 12:30. And then the last day takes us till midnight.
You know what we might have to do, Ham? We might have to rest up on July 2nd and maybe do watch Captain America with a split earpiece going around the lap, going around Roar Park with you. So we get our workout in and still watch
the movie. Oh yeah, I like it. We'll get a little bit of exercise in. Why not? Whoops.
Gotta do something, dude. Gotta do something. All right, ladies and gents, we're back.
We're Marvel nerds.
We're Marvel nerds, but we're back. We're ready to rock this show again. We're ready to be as productive as possible. I am going to change a little bit of the way I do the show. It's just really the way I ask questions. I want to dig a little deeper. I want to get more into a testimonial phase. My own personal content, I think, is going to shift a little more. I want to get in the habit of doing my own testimonials in different places that I go, showing businesses some love, and then maybe capturing other people along the way, sharing their love for the businesses as well. So we're going to focus our attention this year. By the way, July 13th, right, Ham? July 13th is our anniversary.
July 13th is our anniversary. It's going to be 3 years. I'm off the hook.
3 years. I'm committed to 3 years. And
I committed to 3 years. I'm done.
I've done my time, baby. So
now it's just fun. Now
it is just fun. I mean, for those of you who don't know, we committed to doing this podcast 5 days a week for 3 years at least. So July 13th is our 3-year marker. Maybe we'll have some big old celebration event. I have no idea what we're going to do. But
do we have somebody scheduled that day? We do have somebody scheduled that day.
I'm
Paul Rudder.
Paul Rudder's going to get the best episode of all time.
Right?
The 3-year marker, baby. I thought we'd be to 1,000, but we're pretty damn close. But still. So we're changing, and here's the thing about... Here's the thing about 3 years down the road. We've changed a lot. We've changed. We have a logo. We have, the way we do the format of the show, the way we ask questions, our ability to speak behind the mic. It's all been improved. And so, we're on the break. Probably should have started the show with that one, right? So all we can do is promise that we're going to try to get better every single day. That's what we do. We love to have some fun. And we will see you guys again mañana when we have our guest at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Peace out, y'all.
Peace
Later.
Out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.